Oh, Mr. J, everyone loves you. You have your own movie now, and you look strangely different for some reason. But you know what? Since we're broken up, I think it's time for me to have my own movie. What do you say about that? So why don't you just go back there, and now I'm just gonna stop talking in that voice because it's gonna be annoying. And it probably didn't work. I tried. Okay, so Birds of Prey and the Emancipation of one really long movie title is directed by Kathy Yan, and it stars Margot Robbie, who returns into her role as Harley Quinn, and she, in The Joker, just recently broke up, and she's on her own, and at some point she winds up teaming up with a bunch of different women who also have some trouble in their lives, who are all being targeted by Black Mask, played by Ewan McGregor, and that's all you really need to know about this movie going into it. So going into this movie, I won't say I'm a big Birds of Prey fan. I really haven't looked too much into Birds of Prey. And the trailers overall, they were interesting. They definitely looked very unique. It looked like a very interesting turn into the DCEU. And I wasn't really the biggest fan of Suicide Squad. I did like Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. And I kind of figured this was going to be a Harley Quinn-centric movie based on the trailers. And that's the thing about this movie. This is really the Harley Quinn movie. It's just titled Birds of Prey. I'll just say that right now. But overall, this movie it's fine. It's entertaining, but it's not perfect. Like, you could watch it as a matinee and think, oh, that was fun. And if someone asks, would you want to watch it again? I'm like, probably not. And that's this movie. It's fun. It's entertaining. It's a good way to kill about 2 hours. But I wouldn't call it a great movie either. What's good? The acting overall is pretty good, particularly from Margot Robbie. I thought she was really good as Harley Quinn. I think she's even better here than she was in Suicide Squad. As far as the other actresses go in the Birds of Prey, Mary Elizabeth Winstead as Huntress, I thought she was really good despite her limited screen time. I'll address that later. Journey Smollett-Bell, she has some great moments as well. She plays Black Canary. She has some cool action scenes. She has some good lines of dialogue, and her performance is pretty good as well. Rosie Perez, she's also pretty good. She doesn't really get to do much in the movie, unfortunately. But her limited role, it's fine. It's passable. Like all these other actors, they're fine. They're passable. Ewan McGregor as the villain, though. He's not bad by any means. It's just more. It's on a spectrum, really. It's either entertainingly bad or entertainingly good. I don't know. It's like it could be like one of those so bad it's good performances, but it's not a bad performance by any means. I did enjoy his performance overall for the most part, but there were some moments where I'm like, no, I don't really enjoy this anymore. Like I said about the trailers, they were very stylish. They had a very unique way of looking, and like overall the cinematography is really good. The costume design is also pretty good as well. And like I mentioned, this it's very fun. It's very funny. Like I remember watching it just hours ago and thinking that was kind of fun. And like when lines of dialogue were said that were funny, I was laughing and I thought that was kind of funny. So. Again, this is not a bad movie by any means. This is not like one of the worst movies ever made, but then again, I won't say it's one of the best movies ever made. It's a fun movie, like when it's actually being fun instead of like just being dark and twisted and all that. Some action scenes are pretty fun. There's one in a prison. You kind of see a bit of it in the trailer where Margot Robbie shoots the receptionist at a police precinct. And the prison scenes are fun. Scene with Cassandra Cain, and eventually they have to fight a bunch of prisoners in the rain. That was kind of fun. The climax where it's in a fun house, that was pretty fun as well. Very creative as well, and you finally get to see, some of these actresses do really cool things. Like Mary Elizabeth Winstead has a great moment in the scene. Journey Smollett-Bell has a great moment in the scene. Rosie Perez does not, but her performance overall, it's fine. Let's get into the cons of this movie. There are some action scenes that are not nearly as fun. It's like, they're not bad, they're just not really all that impressive. It's like, there's some that I do remember, like, again, the prison riots and the fun house, definitely. And there's one in an alley that was interesting. Well, it's like, they teeter on it's like on a spectrum. It's like, okay, these are really good and these are really bad. Well, not really bad, just not really that interesting. And like I mentioned minutes ago, it's really a Harley Quinn movie. It's titled Birds of Prey. Like, honestly, if you just titled this movie Harley Quinn, it probably would have gone a lot better. And, like, it would be like a little tease at the end of the movie. It's like, oh, they just call themselves, like, the Birds of Prey. And it's like, okay, by the way, this is a spoiler video. I probably should have mentioned that. Yeah, it's not really a Birds of Prey movie. It's a Harley Quinn movie. Actually, it's not even a Harley Quinn movie. It's a Deadpool movie. Because I remember watching the trailer and thinking to myself, they just turned Harley Quinn to Deadpool, didn't they? Because, like, she's breaking the fourth wall. She's going back and, like, she's narrating the entire movie. And then this movie itself, the way it's presented, she narrates a lot of it. And there are a lot of moments in this movie that are very reminiscent of Deadpool. Like, the way some things, not necessarily the way things start, but, like, in the way it's structure. And sometimes it feels like this is like, oh, this is how all this kind of came together. Like, at one point, Margot Robbie's like, oh, man, I told this story wrong. We gotta go back, all the way back. And, you know, that kind of reminded me of, like, how Deadpool's like, oh, we gotta go back. We gotta go all the way back. And then it's like, it shows the scenes again afterwards after you see what happened in the past. And it's like, okay, now you're all caught up. And I'm like, wow, it's really like Deadpool. And not in a good way. Unfortunately. Also, the tone overall is just very uneven throughout. Like, there are a lot of moments that are pretty funny, and that does eventually get to be more serious with some laughs in there. But I would say, like, mostly the middle is mostly uneven. Like, there's a scene where Margot Robbie is captured by Ewan McGregor, and I'm gonna address how they handle the portrayal of men in this movie. But he actually slaps her at one point, and I was like, okay, where are you going to go with this next? And they just do a joke right afterwards. I'm like, that's probably not the best way to go about this. Oh, well. And I do want to address the portrayal of men in this movie. Pretty much every male character in this movie is awful. You know, you have Ewan McGregor, who's a bad guy. You have Chris Messina play Victor Zsasz in the movie. They're jerks. They don't really have any dimension. They don't really have any personality. And I can kind of forgive that in movies, just as long as, you know, the female characters are fine and they're passable. But I would say only about, of the 5 main female characters in this movie, only about 3 of them really made impressions on me. Harley Quinn, Huntress, and Black Canary. Cassandra Cain really didn't do anything for me. Renee Montoya, even though Rosie Perez is admittedly good in her performance, she doesn't really do much in the movie. In fact, also, like, last thing, yeah, all the men in the movie, though, aside from being, you know, complete jerks, they're portrayed also as rapists, just horrible people. And, yeah, there are, you know, there are definitely horrible people out there like that. But every male character it's kind of just, like, I get it, like, you know, I'm not gonna act like, you know, women haven't had the hardest time in Hollywood. They've had hard times in Hollywood, definitely. And I don't know if, like, doing a movie like this where all the male characters are just garbage is really gonna help, unfortunately. Also, there was a big push about this movie, how it had handled LGBT representation. Well, it's not really here, unfortunately. There's, like, a joke reference in the and I didn't even notice this until someone brought it up to me in a different video. Not actually direct, but apparently Harley Quinn is bisexual. It's a blink and you miss it joke, and it's a blink and you miss it, so what was the point? There was also rumors about Ewan McGregor's character being gay in the movie. That they didn't really address that too much. Also, Renee Montoya, it's mentioned that Ali Wong's also in this movie, and she plays the ex-girlfriend of Renee Montoya in this movie. And, yeah, they didn't really do anything with that. It's like, oh, by the way, they used to date. That's it. Okay, nothing else. Go on. We got a movie here. It just, I definitely don't mind LGBT representation. I just hate it when it's like, okay, it's only referenced in passing saying, hey, we got it. No, you didn't, because you didn't really go all the way with it. You only did, like, you just put it on the map and you're like, okay, bye, you just do something else. Okay, whatever. No. Overall, Birds of Prey, while it definitely can be fun to watch, and most of the problems can, it can like go away while you're watching it. It's just those problems are just prevalent enough that they just keep coming back the more you think about it. And this is definitely not a bad movie by any means. Definitely not. I would prefer to watch this again over something like Suicide Squad. But then again, I would have to say I want to watch this movie again, and I don't know if I really want to watch this movie again. Overall, I'll give Birds of Prey 2.5 out of 4 stars. Stream it. So, who's your favorite member of the Birds of Prey? Comment down below, subscribe to the channel. This is Pat, and take care.